I'm Dolly Curtis, and I'm in Weston with Dan Offutt today. And I've driven by this place, Dan, many times, and I've seen your terrific tennis people who stand about, what, 25 feet high?
No, 15 feet.
Oh, 15 feet high, and always wanted to stop, but there's this curve in the road right here, and you just can't really stop so easily. So on the artist tour, the Westport artist tour, I got to stop, and it was pouring rainy day, and I had a chance to meet Dan, who tells me I'm visiting Slave Haven, but I think it's more like heaven, but you want to call it Slave Haven?
In the eyes of the beholder, Dolly.
In the eyes that I'm looking at, it's more like a little bit of heaven, and I don't know about the slavery end, except that might be from your end of all the work you have to do to keep up with the goats and the dogs, and are they ducks or geese?
Ducks and geese.
And barns and houses and friends and many sculptures to talk to and tools and collections of what, glass, and I don't know what all's here, but it looks like a lot of fun to me. It
is all fun.
Right. It doesn't look like slavery in the sense that you think of, you know, Egyptians carrying stones for mud.
No, I love it. I love every bit of it.
That's what I meant. So that's why I teased you when you called it Slave Haven. So folks, this is slavery. I'm all for it. The first thing that happened is the goat ate our microphone cables, so we're working without a mic. So we're putting this in Victor Cromwell's hands, and we're hoping that we can bring this to you today. A visit to Dan Offutt's Slave Haven, which Dolly Curtis is calling Slave Heaven, and I may name it something else before I leave. Yeah, because now you have a little bit of Stonehenge here.
Oh yes, you have to see that. That's been fun for the last 15 years.
And what do you call it? You don't call it Stonehenge, do you call it
Tankhenge. Tankhenge.
Tankhenge. All right. Victor hasn't seen it, but we'll take a hike over there. And how many sculptures are here? About 6?
We had 30 in the show.
But there's at least 30. I can see right from my vantage point here, 30. I see geese. Yes, there are geese that floats around in the water. You told me it's on a wooden...
He's now in dry dock.
And did you make all of these yourselves?
Oh, yes.
Oh, they're not just collected from different places, all made here in the workshop?
I've all made them here.
All made here. And there's a double workshop. One half of the workshop is metal.
The other is wood.
So you say this month I'm going to work on this half, and other times...
Well, a lot of the sculptures are by products. I mean, both
you're bipolar or you're bipolar?
Both. wood and metal.
So you're bipolar, you're a metal wood. And this is Michael. This is the character who ate the microphone cable that we will now not have any more Dolly Curtis interview shows until we can find somebody to repair it. So, how many of the
I have two goats. This is Michael, and his friend is Theodora.
Have they been here a while? I mean, it looks like he's been
I've had Theodora here for 15 years. Michael is just 2 years old.
Michael's just a baby. He eats everything, I notice.
He was raised on a bottle, so he's like a dog, but annoying.
Annoying, but very fond of you, I notice. Very.
I feed him.
Oh, still, I mean, oh, that's why he knows. But did you grow up around animals that you live? I'm sure you did.
I grew up in a small town in western Maryland, and we had farms all around.
So you're used to having, that's why you have like a sweet little place here with animals that you're all...
Little frustrated farmer.
A little frustrated farmer. What I wanted to know is how your neighbors handle you. How do they react? Or you're in Weston is becoming a sophisticated place.
Yeah, they have a society called Keep Weston Rural. I feel I'm the only one keeping Weston Rural.
I love it because I'm from the board of Citizens for Easton, and I understand what you mean. As it keeps creeping away, eroding away the rural quality of Easton and Weston, there are those
I keep getting more geese.
There are those of us who keep trying, but basically everything that's been built here in the last 3 to 5 years is $1 million.
I'm very fortunate that neighbors seem to accept this climate over here. But I don't want to push it anymore.
Well, it is a fun place, though. I mean, they must bring their grandchildren over to visit.
Let me show you around and show you some more sculptures.
Oh, you're not going to tell me anymore? Can I just bug you for another minute or two?
What would you like to know?
Well, I want to know what you did all these for your income.
I was a stockbroker for Offutt.
I figured it was finance.
16 years. And then I went down on the American Exchange and had a seat on the American and also on the Philadelphia Exchange.
So you were going from here to New York City from Weston?
No, I lived in New York in an apartment.
Oh, you lived in New York City in an apartment, and you owned this.
This was therapy out here on weekends.
On weekends. So was it just the one?
No, I lived in the White House.
The wonderful farmhouse?
For 9 months, and then I moved over here after I put electricity and water.
There's two barns here, though. There's this one barn building that looks very recent, and then there's the other barn
The gray barn was a tobacco barn up near...
Was it Vermont?
No, it was up near Hartford by the airport.
Okay, I know. It's all tobacco land there near the airport.
I took that apart, brought it down here in my truck, had it on the ground for 6 months and redesigned it and put it up. We had a barn raising one day. Went very smoothly. I have 3 floors, whereas the tobacco barn really has only 1. But this particular one had a basement, and I only used 2/3 of it, so I had extra room for another floor.
How'd you then get another floor out of it?
Put another floor in. There's a game room up on top.
Right, so
2 studios in the middle.
So you started with the farmhouse, and you had the apartment in New York City, and you came up here in the summer or in the weekends. Then when you retired from the...
Well, actually, one never retires.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I hear that from my cameraman, Vic Cromwell.
It's a matter of attitude, I think. And what we did was come out here and work on projects and go in the city and make some money and then come out here again the following weekend and try to get it more and more.
How many years would you say a period of time? Must have been a long period of time.
Oh, a long period of time.
50 years,
yes.
I'm thinking. You've been on this bend in the road.
Well, I've owned the place for about 30 years. Before this, I had a house in Milford, and I was working on that on weekends.
Oh, that's a whole different community, because that's more of like a beach type coastal
Well, that's
community.
where I keep the boat.
Oh, we do that too.
So I sail a good. I love sailing.
Oh, that's another type of life, because this is like a little farm complex with the sculptures and the workshops and the farmhouse and 2 lovely structures.
It's coming along.
That's a lot.
Each week it gets slightly better.
Really? I didn't realize. So it's an ongoing process?
Oh, yes. You're never finished this.
That's a lot. And then the Milford is no longer? Or
No, I still have the boat dock up there. I keep my boat and a couple other boats.
Just a boat alone is a lot to do, though. Just a boat alone, the upkeep and getting to time to get out on the water.
Yeah, it's all fun.
Fun, all fun. That's a sailboat? Is that
Yeah, large sailboat.
Well, Michael, you're not invited on a sailboat because I hate to think what Michael would do to the rigging because he likes to chew everything. Or maybe because Michael's a baby, or that's just their nature.
No, it's just his nature.
Chew everything like microphone cables. It really ends your interview in a second. So the sculptures are just one part then of what you play with.
Yes. I still trade the market.
I noticed
between 9:30 and 4. So I come out, work in my shop after that.
So in other words, during those hours you watch it very carefully because isn't that something you have to really spend
You don't have to watch it every moment. But generally, I'm in and out of there.
Is that why you have the TV in the workshop? I mean, amongst all these tools and some of those things, so it's kind of, was kind of surprising to me, just a position to see this TV. Because I didn't think you were a soap opera fan.
Oh, no. That's CNBC Business News.
Right in amongst your workshop. So that you could watch.
I can follow it a little bit when I'm doing a project.
Okay.
So I apologize. My shop should be a lot more organized.
No,
there will be if you come back.
Well, shops are always, shops are workshops. That's what they're about, working. So here you are doing these contrasting things, but that's probably what it's about, the contrast of working with metal, working with wood, and having the stockbroker market, the Wall Street.
I never get bored.
When do you sleep? Because that stock market I know it closes at 4.
Well, that closes at 4.
But with the trading that goes on with the internet and everything, doesn't that just keep...
It doesn't really affect us. We start again at 9:30 the next day.
So you have to be ready right on that. And
like to follow it.
Then you phone it, then you work from the phone?
Yeah, I have an order room that I talk to.
Real? So that's why that office was so nicely set up in the house, that little cubby. So I'm taking you away from that today. So that's why when we said, well, maybe we won't do this today, you said, good.
This is a pleasure.
Well, other than
Let me show you around.
All right, let's go take a look at some of these spaces. I don't know what to look at first here, Dan, really. So much here.
I think Victor should see tank hinge.
Okay.
Acetylene torch. It mixes oxygen with acetylene, and we cut along this pattern that I've made here. When we're through, we'll attach it to the man down here as his leg.
all about? What's it called? Welding?
Welding. Where we're melting metal and fastening it together.
Okay. And what's the equipment called? Those tanks?
That's a acetylene torch. I can also weld with that, or I can cut with it. It's oxygen and acetylene mixed together.
If you're like your friend's boy, you could really...
Gives you about 6,800 degrees Fahrenheit.
Really? So most of the sculptures on the property here, like tennis people...
The tennis people are made out of a water tank. There's a lot of tanks I use as raw materials.
The water tanks in people's houses, the water tanks, and then they're cut apart?
I cut them up for sculptures.
So they're...
That's the raw material.
Recyclable?
That people have given me.
Oh, and there's lots of them, aren't they?
Well, you have to see tank hen to appreciate my collection.
Water tanks only last 5 years and then they die.
Oh no, not here. They last forever here.
Oh, tank heaven.
Now, a lot of my sculptures are made out of styrofoam. All the animals that you see here are cut out of styrofoam and painted with latex paint, and it seems to last for about 10 or 15 years.
And then they're lightweight, easy to move around.
Easy, indestructible as far as the elements go.
Well, at least for 10, 15 years. And they're easy for you to work on and easy to move around.
It cuts like butter. There's very little work to it.
With what?
I use a saber saw, a knife, and a rasp.
Are these easy for, these are heavy. I try to move.
These are heavy, but I have Big Yellow that helps me move these.
Like a cat? Like a bobcat?
Backhoe.
Backhoe, Big Yellow.
And I'll be glad to show that to you later.
Because as you said, you have 30, I mean, it's like a little sculpture park. It's like bands,
I think so. It's a playground. It's a playground.
There's Michael again, wanting my attention. It's a playground. Do you move the things around, or what?
Oh yes, no, I move them around. I can do that with Big Yellow.
Because you get bored with them?
Well, no, because as I get more, I like the idea of rearranging them.
Oh, because you want to have them in different...
You never know exactly where you want to keep them.
So where do you find all these found objects, like these pieces? I mean, I find these myself, but I wonder where you find them.
Well, people give me a lot of scrap. I collect anything a magnet will pick up, usually.
Anything a magnet will pick up, okay.
Discarded car parts from a garage, or used to be a junkyard would be very handy, but you can't go into junkyards now because of insurance problems.
Not junk anymore?
Well, no, they won't allow you in because of liability, they claim.
Oh.
But fortunately, years ago, I was able to collect a lot.
So you have a lot of junk piled.
So I have a lot of inventory.
Secured places.
We don't call it junk, Dolly. We call it inventory.
Inventory. Okay. Did you hear that, Victor? We call it inventory, and that's what I call my things from now on.
The neighbors don't like to hear junk.
No, they don't. Even when it's spelled Junque,
oh, no.
It's still junk? Okay, so we call it inventory. I like that. I learned something today. All right, so you have enough for a lifetime to work with? And how the inspirations come. Like when you look at them, you think, well, that looks like I know some of your things are so abstracted.
Well, I have a dentist drill out there that I'm dying to make a sculpture out of. Next time you come, perhaps I'll have that finished.
A dentist drill, the whole chair and everything? Yes. Well, I bet you there's a lot of dentist drills around because those things have been updated. So
that's right.
They make you go backwards now. And
like everything. They're made to last 3 years and then it's junk.
Oh, so there's a lot of inventory available to everybody for doing. It's found object sculpture, isn't it? Found object, and it's folk art, wouldn't you say?
It's a matter of finding a place to use something that it wasn't intended for.
Okay.
That's the challenge.
I guess it's found in the art circles. It'd be considered found object, and you'd be a folk artist. And on Wall Street, you'd be considered a financier that likes to...
A nut.
A nut. That's basically it, I guess. A hippie, as all the young people, that's what they think we are. You know, those hippies or whatever they...
But I hate to see things go to waste. You know, in New York, we're such a wasteful society.
And there's so much...
When I lived there, they used to put things out on the street every Wednesday. I'd come along, and if I saw metal things or something I thought I could use, I'd pick it up. I'd also pick up...
Where'd you put it, though? I mean, in New York, you have to get it to Weston.
I had a pickup truck
So do I.
that I would bring up here, unload it, The furniture that I'd made or repaired, I took back for friends. So it was a full cycle.
So it's traveling
Going back and forth.
That's why I drive the big van, but I gotta watch with my family because if they see me picking something up, they're not too happy about it.
Well, you should change them because you're helping society.
I know, but sometimes it gets ahead of me, see, and I get picking up more things than I can deal with.
You dump it off here.
Oh.
I'm glad to take it.
Okay, it's good that I know that because life gets ahead of you, you know, and you don't get to it. Then you have all these things in your way. And that's the problem. I'll dump some of it off here. Then.
Okay.
Okay.
Take a magnet. If it picks up metal,
I love that. If it
I will use it.
Oh, great. All right. If it picks it up, if it collects to a magnet, then
I want to show you my inventory before you leave.
All right. I want to see the inventory, and also I want everyone to know this barn is loaded with. I mean, it's like.
You know, I took this barn down north of Hartford, up by the airport. It was a tobacco barn.
This is the one that you showed me the model of.
Yeah. I had it on the ground for 6 months, redesigning it, because I wanted 3 floors, and put it up the frame in one day. We had a barn raising.
You numbered them all when they were flat?
Yeah. I had little circles that I numbered, stapled it to the beams. After the second rain, they all washed off.
Oh my gosh.
But the barn is made so precisely.
Oh my gosh.
All pieces are interchangeable.
All the pieces, so you
there's
didn't need all those
no
numbers?
need to number
Or
them.
you lucky? You
That
were
was a
lucky.
waste.
But you were lucky that
But I
happened.
learned, you know, it's a learning process.
But you could have had a big headache
Oh, yes.
when all the numbers washed off.
But it was really fun, a good challenge to try to use the tobacco barn in a studio like I have here.
Called a studio for the metal sculpture.
Yeah.
And on the other side, you told me is all this
I
side
use
is all
wood on the other side, and I have 2 studios upstairs for artists.
To come and work, or
I rent them out.
You rent
yes.
them? Oh, on that side as well.
On the second floor.
I know it's quite spacious.
On the second floor.
Second floor. So do they park and then come and work? The
Yeah,
painters?
they come and go.
Oh, so other people are coming and going here. I know that the goats hang
I
out.
get a lot more done if somebody is here on the premise with me.
Otherwise, what do? You never waste time. You've got the televisions going with the stock market and the animals eating up your right leg if you don't watch out.
Oh, no.
The food's cooking in the kitchen. It's all boiling off while we're out here. And your lovely friend Patricia is helping, and it looks to me like a lot goes on.
It's good fun.
And
I really
there's a little Jack
enjoy it.
Terrier running around here named Bandit, and he keeps the other animals in line.
He does, he does, yeah. He's a good dog.
Is it duck? I asked you this
Jack
before.
Russell.
Oh, the birds. I mean the fowl.
Geese and ducks.
Yeah. Oh, you're both.
Yeah.
Well,
The large ones are the geese.
Well, none of them have been too friendly to me, so I don't know which ones are which. But every time, it's quite a lively place here.
It's good fun.
Well, folks, I mean, we're going to just take a walk around and try to show you. There's so much here. You need to come visit Dan Offutt. Do you invite
I love to have company, yes.
You do?
I love
He
to have
invites people
company.
to come on the Westport Artist Tour. There were 200 people there.
220 people showed up those 2 days.
220 people came by. I did. It was pouring rain. I had a good time anyhow because I didn't have to deal with all the other cars. So on Kettle Creek Road in Weston, you can't miss it because of the tennis players that are 15.
It's the only barn here.
It's the only barn on Kettle Creek?
On Kettle Creek.
With pink and purple tennis players that are 15 feet high that are sort of playing tennis and having fun together.
They highlight the place.
Many times I drove by and wanted to stop.
You should have stopped.
Well,
next time.
Well, now I'm just coming in the driveway. Definitely. So thank you so much for having my cameraman, Vic Crummell. Thank you, Victor, for coming and working around the goats and the ducks and the geese and making it all happen. And,
it's lovely to have you.
Thanks, Dan. We're going to go, and if you could just take us, chaperone us around so we can film some of the other sculptures and share it with everybody.
Let's do it.
And the goats don't eat another one of my mic wires. Thanks.
These are galvanized tanks, brass tanks, copper tanks.
You see them as beautiful?
Well, I see them as useful.
Useful. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
it's a material that would normally be junked, used for nothing.
Definitely.
And I collect them, and eventually find uses for them.
These hot water tanks of all sizes. You should have seen my house because it was it's an old farmhouse like yours.
Yes.
And it
Well,
had many hot
they have nice
many
tanks. Yeah,
nice
they have
ones.
nice tanks.
Well, not anymore. Now we just have the efficient, the updated one.
Oh, that's too bad. You should have known me earlier.
I didn't. You could. I think they were copper. I'm not kidding.
Well, there's a copper tank over there that
there were several
I've used.
when I first
The
moved.
War Machine was made out of a large copper tank.
The War Machine sculpture that I saw. And what do you call this again? This stone.
This is tank hinge.
And I have seen Stonehenge, so it's Tankhenge. Well, everybody, look at this. This is something. It's right in the forest too. That's enormous. That one. Where does that? How'd you ever get that? Even get that here? New York City? Is it from
no. That
huge building?
That came from a place up in Richfield.
It's 10, 25.
No. 20 feet.
20 feet high.
Yeah.
That hot water tank.
Couple thousand gallons.
Couple thousand gallons. So this is Dan's. Where's the sign again? That said tank hedge. It's really something. It really is. What an imagination that comes from you. And has it always been thus when you were a little guy?
I've been a collector for a long time.
Collector. But when you were...
I hate to see things thrown out.
Even when you were like 6 and 8 years old?
Oh, I was collecting, using things, making things out of junk.
Rubber bands and were you one of those
whatever.
kids that was always doing that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I've always been collecting things too. Everybody always says that I just am a mess. No, I don't mean a messy person. I mean
organized mess.
Well, I try, but then it gets beyond that point.
Well, that's the point you
want to try.
You want to avoid.
The people who keep saying those things. Well, it's very joyful coming here.
Well, thank you very much.
And I mean, I've always wanted to stop, as I said. Now I have, and I'm sorry that I interrupted you today because we've all had a few emergencies today, but we're here now. We shared it with everybody, and
we'll get it to work.
Come and meet you themselves. So Dan, Offutt, thank you so much for having Vic and I. And we've come to tank heads, right?
Right.
We've experienced it here in the USA in Western Connecticut. All right.